Welcome back, team. Professor Mike, Coach T, Gracie Barrow Round 8 Leads here in the UK. Welcome back. The sun is out. We're buzzing. It's Sunday. We're going to show you a super cool concept or idea again. We do this every Sunday. If you've not seen these videos so far, check back. Go back through the library. They're all there. Today, talking about creating reactions in our opponent and creating opportunities for further attacks. It's a key thing to understand here in Jiu-Jitsu. If you're training with someone who's never trained before, you can do whatever you want. You've got such an advantage over them that really it's an unfair kind of fight, right? Or match. But if your opponent's been training for a little while, they know the basics. They know how things work. They know a number of techniques and escapes. They know how to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And if you're against someone who's much bigger and stronger than you and they are locked down, it's very hard to break down those defenses sometimes. All right, even the best technique in the world will struggle to get through, a huge dude who's just locked his arms in place there. Very, very tricky. What we need to do is to be able to create reactions and get our opponent to open up for us. Because if we don't do that, all we're doing is using brute force against them. Okay, that's not efficient. That's not what Jiu-Jitsu is. An example of this, if I ask Coach T to just lay down for me, and we're going to mount Coach T here. Okay, if he just is super tight defensively, elbows are in, covering his neckline here, and I wanted to get one of these limbs out, I've got a couple of options, right? I can either use all my strength against him. If he's tight, stay tight for me. This is going to be quite difficult, okay? Trying to get in here, and we see this a lot from people new to Jiu-Jitsu, using brute strength to try and get rid of these, okay? That's not an efficient way to do this. We've got to think of a better solution. All right, so maybe if he's super tight in here, maybe I can low down. I hope for that Ezekiel we showed you earlier in the week. As I do that, his elbows slightly come up to defend, and that's all I need to get to my high mount position. All right, that's an example. Another example would be maybe from the closed guard. I'm able to get a cross grip here on my opponent, okay? Now, if I want to pull this across to take the back, and my opponent doesn't want that to happen, as I pull, they're going to pull back. Gives me an opportunity to come up, to take something else. All right, so we should always be looking, thanks Coach T, to create opportunities through our opponent's reaction to what we're trying to do. So there's a couple of ideas. How do we approach this? Well, we need to approach it with an open mind first and foremost. We need to have the right mix of control and a sense of kind of looseness. Because if we clamp onto our opponent, we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to move. And we've just spoke about the reaction. When our opponent reacts, we've got to move. We've got to fill that space because it may only be momentarily available. Okay, so again, if Coach T lays down, one of the probably best, most simple examples would be looking at this, maybe from a Jiu-Jitsu context, but also something you see often in mixed martial arts. In the mount position, maybe there's strikes involved here, and so we can look at it from that context, or maybe our opponent doesn't know Jiu-Jitsu, and they get here and they just freak out. What 9 times out of 10 happens is our opponent will roll to their knees to try and get up. If they don't know Jiu-Jitsu, all right, and you're here, and you see it in MMA the whole time, our opponent rolls, and I allow them to roll and take advantage of that reaction, okay, by exposing their back. If I was connected to my opponent to a point where I was desperate to hold this position, when this happened and he rolled and I stayed connected, I'll get bridged off. All right, so there's this kind of middle ground somewhere where there's enough connection to maintain the position, but not so much that I can't release it and move. Again, in this week, we looked at coming to kind of a mid-mount position, going for our choke. Our opponent goes for upper escape. If I'm connected and desperate here to get the choke, I'm going to get uppered off. But if I've got enough connection that I can finish the choke if I want, but I'm ready when my opponent reacts, I can come to a more advantageous position and finish somewhere else. All right, so there's a few examples there for you. Again, as we always kind of say in our academy, the best way to learn jiu-jitsu is to figure out these problems yourself. All right, and when you do this, you know, you're going to be frustrated because maybe you go for the collar choke and you get ripped off 10 times. Well, next time, just release it a little bit. Just release your hips. Get ready for that reaction. Maybe the next time you do it, you completely miss it and your opponent turns into your close guard. Well, you've lost nothing, but give yourself a little bit of room to move, okay, and play with an open mind where you're happy to transition. One of the best ways to learn this, and this is difficult for new people, is to flow roll, right? So to roll at like 50%, where we're able to move and trade positions without ever getting to a submission, to see and notice how our opponent reacts and learn the most predictable ways our opponent will react to our attacks. That's the best way to learn this kind of stuff. It's invaluable, all right? You've got to be able to attack your opponent's reaction, capitalize on opportunities that present themselves, and get, crucially, and this is the thing I want you to remember, the real balance between ultimate control and fluidity. The best jiu-jitsu practitioners feel like they weigh 150 kilos, but move like a shark through water, right? We've got to have both those things. Got to be fluid and solid. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it made sense. Got any questions at any point, hit us up on social, on the comments. Make sure you subscribe and share this channel. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. All the best.